Podcast City Network.
Listener discretion is advised.
You're listening to The Everett Lee Show. A shot of entertainment to the head. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the entertainment.
Of course, if I hit the audio, you can hear me. Welcome to the Everett Lee Show. You can check me out on Facebook, The Everett Lee Show, over on Twitter, at The Everett _Lee, and on Instagram, Everett Lee Show, and over on YouTube, The Everett Lee Show. Subscribe to that. I'm back for another podcast, and if you notice tonight, if you're viewing the live stream, which you will be, I'm streaming on my own Twitch channel. And if you jump over to podcastcity.net, you'll notice that I'm over there, but I'm not live on Podcast City's Twitch channel. I'm live on the Everett Lee Show Twitch channel. Trying to build that up, trying to get everyone over on this channel as much as on the other channel. And I want to thank everyone that's viewed and jumped in and enjoyed the content over on Podcast City's network Twitch channel. But tonight, you're viewing Everett Lee right here, the Everett Lee, on his own Twitch channel. And one thing I want to mention is that tonight, if you checked out Deathmatch Wrestle Podcast, he had Killer Caitlin on. And guess who I have on tonight, ladies and gentlemen? He's on the line right now. I have none other than Mr. Wrestling, Rage in a Cage, Mr. Jeremy Rage. How you doing there, Mr. Wrestling?
How's it going, Everett?
Pretty good. It's been a long time since I last talked to you, man.
It's been a minute.
It has.
It's definitely been a minute. How's everything been going?
Everything's been going pretty good. I mean, I think the last time I actually talked to you was actually when I had Cousin Frank on. And it was right after he won the world title. And unexpectedly, you called in. And you basically, you ripped him, you ripped the new, at the time, the new KZW World Heavyweight Champion. You ripped his ass a new one.
Well, I mean, that's kind of how you, have to do things. Like you got these guys who, they wonder, how do I need to make a mark, or how do I need to do this, or how can I get, here? And the only way that I've ever found success and that you can do it to where they have really no choice is, make your own mark. So when I saw an opportunity to, tell Cousin Frank that he kind of stepped into my shot, I just, made it known.
You did. You definitely did made it known, man. You definitely did. And pretty much, you had him choked up. He didn't know what to say. Cousin Frank didn't really know what to say.
That's how it goes, though, man. When you call and you start ripping people a new ass, they don't know what to say. Everything goes out the window.
It certainly did go out the window. I was not expecting that. I was unprepared to that. I'm usually prepared for everything I do on this show here with everything that's lined up, and I did not expect that because I had the phone lines open, and I usually keep them open, and luckily I had that open, and you just called right in. And it was just like, wow.
Well, I mean, I don't mean to bust up you party and you podcast and things like that. Like I've never intended to be disrespectful towards you in any way, but like I said, Frank, I was, that world title is mine. That friggin' world title belongs to me, and right now he's just keeping it warm for me. I like I said, I saw an opportunity to put him on notice, and I did. Why put a guy on notice in a room full of a couple hundred people when you can put him on notice nationally to the world,
Right. You certainly did. I mean, you definitely put him on noticed in front of everybody because I didn't expect that. I did not expect that, and a lot of the fans of KZW and those viewing that stream that night, they didn't expect that either. So that was pretty good because the whole direction of the show changed and stuff, and of course, Mr. Wrestling brings ratings. I have to say that you and the Chris Rose, okay, you and the Chris Rose bring ratings because right now, I mentioned this to you and the Chris Rose. I reached out to you guys, and you guys on iTunes for the Everett Lee Show on iTunes, you get your episodes are the most listened to and probably downloaded episodes I have right now. How do you feel about that?
Oh, it feels pretty good. I ain't gonna lie about it. It does feel pretty good. But, I mean, it's sort of a symbol of accomplishment because I mean, like you said, I equal ratings. I mean, I'm the draw. I'm what draws people in. Like you've got your main event guys, and you've got your mid-card talent, and you've got your guys that we call them the curtain jerkers who set the pace for the shows. But then you've got the workhorse guys, the guys that's the draw, the guys that draws them in, the guys that puts the asses in the seats, and that's kind of how I feel like I am to any company that I'm involved with.
Yeah. Yeah, you basically you put butts in seats, and you definitely did put butts in the seats, man, because everyone jumped right in, man. The viewership went up that night right there because they were wanting to see what else is going to happen with.
Well, I mean, it's always a guessing game. I mean, you know the business. It's a crapshoot. You know, you can't never tell what new feud might pick up or who might do what or who's fucking who. You know, you can't never tell.
No, you definitely can't because it's pretty much it is a guessing game. It definitely is a guessing game when it does come to doing podcasts and everything because you don't know who is going to be coming on. You don't know what's going to happen next, and you expect the unexpected. And right now, I'm talking about expecting the unexpected. We got Mr. Deathmatch Russell. He's in the chat. Hello, Everett Lee and Mr. Wrestling Jeremy Rage. And he says, Mr. Wrestling Jeremy Rage, killing it.
Absolutely. What's going on, Russell?
Yeah, I want to give another shout out that Killer Caitlin was on Deathmatch Russell podcast tonight, man. She was on there. I got to go back and listen to that, man, and see how that went because I know she killed it over there. You know, no pun intended.
Oh, absolutely. She done fantastic. That being her first official podcast, she done great.
That's good. She got a taste of it, man, because once you start doing these things quite a bit, it's like almost like crack. You get addicted to it.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I mean, it ain't just that. I mean, like I said, she's brought her game up exponentially since, coming over to, the Lost City Saints, and ever since we've been living together and, we're engaged, and ever since all that's happened, family vacations and things like that's pretty much, come to almost a grinding halt because every day it's tape study, training, workout, do it again.
Right.
And I mean, she's picking her game up a whole lot better. She's got a fucking brutal forearm. But she's coming up in the world, and hopefully, if everything turns out right, she's about to be women's champion.
Nice. Right now, refresh my memory. Who's holding the women's championship right now in KZW?
That would be Harley Fairfax.
Uh-huh.
She is currently the KZW Women's Champion, but things are starting to take place, I guess, and a little bit of an attitude change from her. Kind of like it myself. So we kind of letting her slide by right now. But I'm thinking that her contract is up for renewal, and I don't know if she's going to renew or not. And if she doesn't, then the title will be vacated, in which case there'll be a tournament held, in which case Killer Kaylin's going to take it. There's no way that she's not winning that belt.
Yeah. Yeah, she's come up, man. She's come up. I know that she's been coming to the ring with a lot of the wrestlers in the past here, there, and then now she's with you and B.W. Anderson, you guys now. And I was going through looking at KCW, looking at what happened at Heatwave there, man. What the heck happened? I'm looking at pictures. The pictures tell a million words. Okay, a picture tells a million words. I see you whipping Big Cousin Frank. I see him whipping on you. I see people coming in the ring. All I seen Cousin Frank grabbing Kaylin. And what the hell happened? I want to know what happened. What's the story behind these pictures?
Okay, so back earlier, as we was discussing earlier, I had pretty much called Frank Vanover out on live podcast. Well, JJ got a hold of that, and he held a tournament to find a number one contender because Matty B, after I think it's Cage Fury, if Matty B don't win the championship, that's his last opportunity for the title, as long as Frank's champion.
Right.
And I ended up winning that match. So when I won that match, obviously me and B-Dub still tag team champions, but he wasn't able to make it that day, and I ended up winning that match. So we go to Heatwave in Monticello. We get there. JJ tells me, tonight's the night, you get, shot at Frank. I said, okay, cool. So, we're in the match. I'm working his big ass over. I've destroyed his arm because, if you take his arm, he's got no choke slam.
Yeah.
And I kind of underestimated Frank just a little bit. Experience does pay off, sure, but when you have 100 pounds on a guy, don't matter how much more experience he has than you, the weight difference will make a difference. And Frank hits like a friggin' mule. So, I'm doing my thing, and he ends up getting a half-ass choke slam off, and when he did, he grabs Kaylin because, obviously she's not going to, sit back and let me lose. So she got up on the apron trying to help out. Frank grabs her, goes to pull her in the ring, and me and B-Dub just blast him. And by the time we got him beat down, then here comes Matty B, because, me and Matty, we always been cool, and he may have slipped me a few extra shekels, to loosen him up a little bit. We all put the boots to him, and then here comes Chief Tomahawk, Johnny Bad, of all people, Billy Brewster. They all come out to try and be the big good guys and help Big Frank and stick their nose in places that it's not wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So after I wrestled 20 minutes of a grueling and a very beautiful World Championship match, I ended up having to wrestle again straight away, and it was an 8-man tag, in which, like I said again, I wrestled 20 minutes before that match, then wrestled another 20 minutes during that match, so a total of 40 minutes I was out there kicking ass. And Johnny Bad just kind of, he got one over on me.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. We lost that match, but if it would have been one-on-one, me and Johnny Bad would have been a whole nother story.
Right. You have anything you want to say? You want to say to Johnny Bad right now for his actions?
Oh, Johnny, Frank, everybody. They know how I work. I don't put just one. I put every sumbitch in them locker rooms on notice. When you step in my ring, when you step in Mr. Wrestling's way, you put your nose in my business or you put your hands on my woman, there will be consequences to pay. And come Saturday at 80s night in Shopville, Johnny Bad, whichever one I run up on first, I will leave laying in either the parking lot, the locker room, wherever I see them at. Their asses belong to me.
All right. There you go. Hopefully Johnny's tuning in tonight and he's hearing that. And what you're talking about there is on right here. You can look on the live stream right there. 80s night at the old Shopville Gym at 144 Shopville Road, Somerset, Kentucky. Doors open at 7 p.m. Bell time 7:30. Ringside seats are $10. Bleachers $8. Children 5 and under, free admission, and credit card is subject to change. This Saturday, August 10th. And looking at this poster, who the heck is that front and center?
That's Mr. fucking Wrestling Jeremy Rage, baby.
That's
the
right.
The spotlight's on me where it should be.
I like it. That sounds like it's going to be a fun night, and I can't wait to see what happens with that right there with 80s night there from KZW, Kentucky's Own Wrestling. So it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, and hopefully get your hands back on Big Cousin Frank and get a rematch, another shot at that World Heavyweight title there, Mr. Wrestling.
I'm far from being done with that. See, I had to. And I mean, think about it like this, Everett Lee. Mm-hmm. Picture this.
Okay.
Your best friend from childhood, since he was 8. You train him, you break him in the business, you travel with him. Then the problem arises. You take care of that. You thought that shit was over. They dangle a world title shot in front of both of you. One of us has got to walk out number one contender. The other one either has to go back to the back of the line or gets set home. So what did I do? I did the only thing that Mr. Wrestling does, and I crippled his ass. The Mad One, Crutch, the Mad Hatter. I permanently put him on the shelf. He is no longer wrestling. I crippled his ass and sent him home to his mama crying.
Wow.
Just to get a shot at Big Frank Vanover at Heatwave. Heatwave rolls around, and Big Cousin Frank, he's got a bad arm right now, just from that match. He's got a messed up shoulder. Going into Cage Fury, I don't care who comes out winning that title. Whoever it may be coming out of that Cage Fury with the world title, you're going to be looking at Mr. Wrestling as soon as the damn door closes. I promise you that. If I'm going to go far enough to cripple a guy who I said was my best friend, I'm going to go far enough to put him out of wrestling for good, what do you think I will do to keep that championship once I obtain it?
Of course, you're gonna get that championship, and just like Cousin Frank, when he won that title, you're the first guy to go after him there. I mean, you called him out, right here on this podcast, and then everybody's been gunning him. I seen the Chris Rose went after him, and that didn't work out too well for the Chris Rose.
No, it did not. Chris Rose, I have to say, though, I have to give him, I give credit where it's due. He put on a hell of a classic with Frank Vanover. It just wasn't his night. I mean, he brought every trick in the book that he could learn, and it still wasn't enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was one heck of a match there. That was at the fairgrounds this summer, wasn't it? There.
Yeah, it's been back in June.
Yeah,
maybe July.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it was a good match. But yeah, he ended up, I think, kind of talking to another Chris Sterling,
mm-hmm.
who is the United States champion at this point in time in KZW. And a guy, I guess, must have heard the podcast, because if you remember, Everett, back when Chris Rose won the U.S. title,
yeah,
who was the first man to call up on the podcast?
That was you.
Damn right. But, now him and Chris Sterling, they're teaming up more and more here lately, looking pretty solid as a good tag team.
Yeah.
may have some good competition, and people may actually get to see that Jeremy Rage versus Chris Rose match that they've been wanting to see for the last 8-9 months.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I definitely would see it. I definitely would like to see that. I like to see you two hook up in the ring there and go at it one-on-one there, because I know the story and the history that was mentioned when Chris was on, and then you mentioned the history. So we got both sides of the coin right there. We know how that is with you two. I mean, no lost love right there, but heck,
No.
yeah, him and Chris Sterling. That's interesting right there, because I may have to ask more about that with Chris, because Chris is going to be on the Deleted Wrestling podcast this Friday night.
Yeah, the SummerSlam prediction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's gonna be on. He comes on at least once a month with me to discuss the WWE pay-per-views, and we're gonna be discussing SummerSlam. And I want to talk just a little bit with you about that, if you don't mind. I mean, have you been keeping up with what's been going on here in the last few weeks for the build-up for SummerSlam?
I saw a few things here and there. The match that I was looking forward to most, I would have to say, is the Dolph Ziggler versus Goldberg match.
Really?
Which, yeah, because I'm thinking that they're trying to push Dolph to the fucking moon. And if Dolph can put down Goldberg, I mean, world title is just around the corner. But in the same light, it's fucking Goldberg, man.
Yeah,
I mean, at 55, the man is still just as big of a beast as he was back when he was 25. I mean, good God.
Yeah, he is. Did you catch that match he had with Undertaker there over at the Saudi show?
I saw that match. Yes, that was a suck fest.
The first part of the match I loved, and a lot of people did though. But what I think, you can agree, disagree with me on this. As soon as he went to spear Taker in the corner, and as soon as he hit that ring post and came off, that the whole momentum in the match changed. Did it not?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you got to think about it. And that's the situation with any wrestling match. You always are trying to look for an opening to take advantage of and exploit. Taker, moved out of the way because he was in danger of getting beat by Goldberg.
Yeah.
When Taker moved and Goldberg hurt himself, that was the opening that Taker needed to, finish the job. And I mean, that's like with anybody. I mean, you find the opening, you exploit it, and you go after it.
Yeah, you definitely do. You definitely do. I mean, yeah, he went after it. He hit that spot right there, and when he cracked his head open, there, he basically everything changed in that match stuff, because Taker wasn't too satisfied with the way how he put Goldberg out, because that's not the way he wanted to do it. But then, Goldberg got on social media there and Twitter, and he's like, look, I suffered a concussion after I hit the ring post. So he didn't know where the hell he was on. Like the impression Steve Austin talked about when he wrestled Owen Hart, when he took that pile driver with him.
Oh, yeah, when the lights was on, but there ain't nobody home, yeah.
Exactly. The lights were on, no one was home. And
yeah, I mean, it's like your body goes into autopilot. When you get a concussion, you get rocked. You can't stop the fight. I mean, are you really going to stop the fight for, a concussion?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah.
So, I mean, your body just kind of takes over and goes into autopilot, and what you get is what you get. I mean,
exactly.
I give him props for at least finishing.
Yeah. Yeah, he finished. I mean, yeah, he definitely did finish the match there. He definitely did. And talking about autopilot, it's like Becky Lynch last year when she got punched in the face by Nia Jax. She didn't realize.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, she didn't realize anything that happened after she left, after she walked up the arena and stuff. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's. I mean, as well as anybody else does, because like I said, you've been around the business. When you get rocked and autopilot sets in. I mean, some people like Becky, can have a top 5 match.
Yep.
And some people, it rocks them so bad that they can't put one foot in front of the other one. I mean.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And
it's wrestling. It's not ballet.
exactly. It's not. Yeah, it's not ballet. It's It's wrestling. It definitely is wrestling. And one match I'm definitely looking forward to SummerSlam is Randy Orton and Kofi Kingston.
I'm actually looking forward to that one. I did not get to see the build-up or anything. I didn't get to see it, but I heard about it from some highlights on YouTube, and I watched that. And I'm excited to see what happens there because, I mean, they've got heat from back when Orton was on top, when he had the legacy going on.
Yeah, that's, you see, when Kofi called out Randy Orton for his opponent, I'm like, Randy Orton? What the hell?
Yeah.
And then when he came out, what's that?
I think he's just trying to prove to people that he can go and that he can hang with these guys because, guys are looking for Kofi to fail. Like, everybody's, like, even when Kevin Owens did his deal and they had the match, everybody thought Owens was just going to take it and like Kofi was going to be the handover guy. Mm-hmm. And Kofi's had a death grip on the damn title ever since he won it,
Yes. Yeah, he's definitely had that grip on it and stuff. And a lot of people's been happy and all right with his run. And a lot of people said it's not really been the best run for him because of competition and who's been thrown in front of him. And
right.
I didn't understand why Orton, and when Kofi explained it, I was like, you know what, this is going to be good.
It makes sense now, doesn't it?
Yeah, it makes sense, why he wants Orton. And then Orton, I love his response. He basically told Kofi his title run's a fluke. It's a fluke.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't be where he's at if it wasn't for him because he put Ali out. And if Ali didn't get put out, Kofi wouldn't have got his shot at Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania and wouldn't have had his WrestleMania moment.
That's absolutely 100% accurate.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Well, I mean, that's like the situation that I was just put in here recently. Mm-hmm. What we was just talking about earlier. All right, JJ brought 2 of the top guys together. All right, in a meeting in their little boardroom, signed a contract to do a match for a shot, just an opportunity at Big Frank Vanover. And you saw what happened there. I put his ass out and sent him home.
Yeah, you.
And now, I went in the heat wave, and everything was going good. But when he put his hands on my woman, that's where I draw the line. You cannot put your hands on my woman and think that I'm not going to take it from professional to personal in just 2 seconds.
Right. Right. Because that's one thing you don't do. You definitely don't do. I mean, for example, if you look at the women and the valets that's followed their guy that they're managing to the ring, basically when the other person in the ring puts their hands on them, there's consequences to pay.
Oh yeah, I mean, whether that person's there on purpose, like a setup, whether that be the case, whether it be unintentional or whether it be a situation like we were in where she saw that I was in danger and decided, hey, I'm going to step up and help my man. And, I mean, she put herself in harm's way for me, so, I'm going to do whatever I can do to get her out of that situation, and that's what we did.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely did. I mean, you had to do what you had to do. You definitely did.
Oh, yeah.
You definitely did. Now, talking about, since we're talking about WWE, did you check out the trailer for the 2K20?
Not yet, I haven't. I was going to today, but I kind of had some yard work and stuff that needed to tend to, so I did that, but I heard that it's supposed to be like the biggest roster that they've had, and they say that every year for every game release, but this one's got like Hulk Hogan and everybody on it. I want them to have a damn game with Piper and Owen Hart on it, for God's sake.
Yeah, I think a lot of people want Owen Hart They want Owen Hart and Piper. Yeah, definitely Piper. Hogan, he wasn't in the I think the last 2 games, or
he wasn't in the last 3.
Yeah, he wasn't in, because I own 2K17. He's not in it. You can make Hulk Hogan, and they have everything to, from his finisher to his signature to his aneurysms and his create that wrestler. You have everything right there to create Hulk Hogan, but he's not in the game. 2K17, 18, 19. And on the one thing is the covers on who's going to be on the cover. This year, you got 2 WWE wrestlers. You have the Man, Becky Lynch, and Roman Reigns on the front cover, sharing the cover this year.
I saw that. I did see that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because I think, what is it, 2K19, AJ Styles, 18 has, Seth Rollins. 17, Brock Lesnar, 16, Stone Cold. Out of all the 2K games, what was your favorite one? I know you play games. Me and you talked about playing some PlayStation 4. What is your favorite 2K wrestling game that you played?
Favorite 2K, I would have to say probably 14, because it had the 30 years of WrestleMania on it, and you got to do those showcases.
Mm-hmm.
That, I have to say, was about my favorite one so far. But now 18 was pretty good. Like, I own Hit. I play Hit, randomly. Sometimes me and her will.
Mm-hmm.
But 13 was really, really like my all-time favorite WWE game.
Yeah.
Just because it was the Attitude Era, and that's my childhood. Like, I grew up from when the start of Degeneration X happened all the way up till current. Right now I've watched it nonstop.
Right. Yeah, the 2K14, WWE 2K14 was one of my favorites, because I did like the 30 years of WrestleMania, and what I liked about that was where you got to relive moments from WrestleMania. I mean, especially like with WrestleMania 3, being Hulk Hogan getting a body slam Andre, to WrestleMania 4 going up against being Randy Savage winning the
Ricky Steamboat. That was the match that I was wanting to play the most.
Yeah, that was great right there. And then remember they had the thing on there for 2K14. They had it where you had the thing where you tried to break the streak, Undertaker's streak.
Yeah, beat the streak.
Did you ever beat a streak?
I did one time with Diesel, but it took me like 20 fucking power bombs to do it. Like, I fought that guy for, I couldn't tell you how many times that he set me down. Like, I never got past it one time, but picked Diesel.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow or another, something had happened, and I kept powerbombing him, and put him through both announce tables and all that shit, and then the referee went down, and then I was just like, well, I know what I would do in that situation, so I got a chair, whipped his ass until the ref got up, threw the chair out, gave him another jackknife, and beat him.
Yeah. Well, the first time I tried it, okay, I won up on him, and then when lights went out, he turned around and he choke slams me 1, 2, 3. I couldn't kick out of it. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Come to find out, man, I went online and looked. Here's a little trick for you, okay? If you really want to basically you can whip Undertaker like all the time. If you do this one trick, you'll laugh at this, okay? Let me ask you, what is Undertaker's signature and finisher? It's choke slam, tombstone.
Choke slam and the tombstone, yeah.
Okay. What you do is, my nephew found this because he was laughing at me one night, laughing at it. I go, there's no way to beat him. They made it impossible. He said, oh, there's a way to do it. I said, how? So he went online and looked. He found out if you go into Undertaker's movesets and...
Oh, yeah, and you crank his attributes and everything all the way down?
No. you change his signature and finisher to top rope moves. He will not climb the turnbuckle. And I was like, no way, this can't work. I said he does the walk on the ropes.
He does the old school.
Yeah, and I was like, and my nephew's like, just try it. Okay. So we set it up. I think I forgot who I picked. When he started whipping out of the gate, whipping my ass, boom, fills up a special. All of a sudden, I swear, he looked like he was going back and forth, like he was like having like a seizure because he could not perform the damn signature. And every time I went over to hit him, he reversed, and finally I got him down, and then he came back because I'd reverse, he reversed, and then he filled up a finisher. I'm like, oh shoot, my nephew's dying laughing next to me. He says, he can't do it. He could not figure out, the AI could not figure out how to climb over to the turnbuckle and get up on the turnbuckle. So I went to town on the dead man and I beat him, but every time he got a chance to beat me, the AI glitched out. You ever saw the glitch out where they're trying to go forward but they keep running back and forth like they're like almost phasing right there in the ring? That's what he was doing.
Yeah, like they're spazzed out.
He couldn't figure out what the hell to do. It's like, I got this finisher, I got to hit it, but how do I do this? Yeah, so I ended up beating the dead man. I beat him. I beat the streak that way. I changed everything to the top rope, and he couldn't climb to the top rope.
See, I never got to figure nothing like that out. Hell, that's just like after I did it, a buddy of mine told me the thing that I was telling you. He's like, you can go into the AI settings and turn his shit all the way down.
Yeah.
And it's still going to be a damn good match, but he's not going to be able to, catch a finisher or a special on you real quick. And the catch finishers is pretty much took off.
Yeah.
But when I did it, I might have cheated with Diesel to do it, but, I still did it.
Yeah. Refs knocked out. Of course, when I'm playing those 2K WWE 2K games, if I'm someone like, hell, for example, if I'm Orton or Triple H and the ref knocks out, the first thing I'm doing is I'm going over to the ring and I'm grabbing myself a freaking chair. I'm grabbing the sledgehammer because while the ref is trying to figure out where he's at, I've already laid out my opponent and I'm waiting for him to just come over and count 1, 2, 3. And then stand tall. and then one time I was like, I got so frustrated, so I went and pulled that. So I took a weapon, I threw it in the ring, and I grabbed another weapon. When the ref turned around to grab the weapon, I was kind of late on hitting him. And soon as I was in motion, the ref turned right around and seen me knock his lights out and DQ. I was like, damn it.
Well, see, I've been in that situation before, too. Like, say, at Heatwave, Johnny, they all threw us into each other, and we call that the train wreck. We call that a train wreck. When everybody collides and it's the wrong people,
Mm-hmm.
So here's my woman with her, the way she's been coming along, and I've been teaching her, she just throws me the belt. I went to knock Johnny the fuck out. And he just, I guess he, because I've done it to him before, so I guess he must have figured, he must have saw, and that's what got me. When he ducked, I was like, uh-oh, and when I turned around, he was already up in the air coming down, and I was laid out.
Right.
But, hell, we won the match within the first 10 minutes anyway, because Frank Vanover's big oaf ass gets the tag, comes in, and pretty much tackles the referee to the ground.
Yeah.
To try and get to us.
Uh-huh.
And we won the match right there, because, anytime you put your hands on a referee, ain't that a disqualification?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a DQ. Yeah, that's a DQ, definitely. Definitely
but
is.
Because, because it's Frank, and all that shit, they let the match keep going.
Well,
But
you'll
like,
get it. You'll get it again,
oh,
man.
I'm going to. There's
You
no
will.
doubt in my mind. But back to the SummerSlam thing. What's this deal with Kevin Owens? Like, is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? I mean, what's going on there? Because like, when I watched it the last time I sat down and watched it, he was part of the New Day and turned on Kofi.
Yeah.
Lost that pay-per-view, and now he's fighting Shane McMahon. Like, has Shane straight up become part of the roster now?
Yeah, Shane's part of the roster. Shane basically has his own agenda. He is basically, if you look at it, okay, this is what happened. Okay, Owens disappeared there for a while. Owens did his KO show, okay, and he had Shane and he had Drew McIntyre on there. And Owens started getting smart with Shane. And Shane looked at him, he said, "You know what? You read the notes." And he basically asked Shane how it felt like getting his ass kicked. And he's like, no, you follow the notes I give you. And Owens is like, "You know what? I'm not following these notes." And he just basically lashed out at Shane. And the crowd started going crazy. And Dolph Ziggler came in the ring and he was like, he tore into Dolph Ziggler. So at that moment, I mean, he said, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of you. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of him coming out and whining. And I'm even sick of him following you around, talking about, Drew following Shane around. So Owens just got sick of everything. And so therefore, with him being sick of everything, it just, he is time for a change, I guess. So he basically got sick of the authority of how Shane is the authority figure. Kind of like Stone Cold. It's like Owens is kind of like almost now like this generation's Austin. And Shane,
because I saw that he was using the stunner.
Yeah, Shane is like this generation's McMahon, and Austin gave him the okay to do it. Austin told him, he's like, "Let me show you how to do a stunner right, son." And of course, Steve Austin's going to show him how to do it right. I mean, he gave him props for it, And someone said, "Aren't you upset about it?" And he's like, "You know what? Someone has to do it." That's like when I met Billy Gunn. I met Billy Gunn last year at an event here in Orlando, that wrestling event. His picture is right behind me there. He signed it for me, but when I met Billy Gunn, I asked him. I bullshitted with him for a minute there, and I said to Billy Gunn, I said, "How do you feel about Dolph Ziggler using the Famouser?" He said, "How I feel about him using the Famouser?" I said, "Yeah. How do you feel about that?" He says, "With wrestling, this has been done. This move's been done. That move's been done. This move's been done." And he says, he told me his opinion. He said he's flattered. He said, "We're not trying to reinvent the wheel here, okay? How many people do a DDT, okay? Who uses that as a finisher? Jake Roberts."
Roberts.
Yeah. Basically, all these moves are out there to use. So you're going to pick it and you're going to use it. He says, him using it, he said he's flattered. He says, but he could still, he feels that he gets more height on it than Dolph does. Not as much.
Oh, yeah.
And
well, Dolph goes like, when he does it, he just kind of runs straight in, hooks it, and, he don't get the height. See, Billy was all about impact, and Dolph is more of a speed kind of guy. Like, he'll hit the Famouser out of nowhere, and Billy, like he said, I mean, and you got to think, too, Billy Gunn's 6'6".
Yeah. Yeah, he's
Dolph
tall.
Ziggler ain't no Billy Gunn.
Yeah. Exactly. And I'll tell you this, Jeremy. Meeting him in person, dude, god dang, his arms are about big as my thighs, man.
Oh, I guarantee it. Like, Billy Gunn is not no little guy.
Oh, hell no.
And he is one of the guys that I used to say back in the day that should have been world champion. Like, Billy Gunn should have won the world title in his WWE career. Like, could you imagine? Like, you remember when Jericho first won against Triple H on Raw when they reversed the decision? You remember the pop that he got for that?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just imagine if Billy Gunn won the world title. Like, just picture that for a minute. Like, that place would have blown up.
Yeah, it definitely would have blew up. I mean, yeah, that place would have definitely blown up, though. But Billy did his singles run, and Billy kept in doing tag team, too, man. Billy and Chuck.
Oh,
Chuck,
yeah.
Chuck
I didn't
Palumbo.
much care for that whole time frame. Like, the Billy and Chuck thing, at first they were a great tag team, but when they started taking things, that route, like, it wasn't good.
You didn't really care too much for it after that, did you?
No.
No, the Billy and Chuck thing. I thought it was comical at first, though, especially.
I mean, it was good comic relief, but
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, it definitely was.
Entertainment's sake,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah,
It kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth. You know what I mean?
It did, but it was great. It was a great run how it went and stuff, and what I liked was when they were about to get married and Billy backed out, and then remember who the preacher was? He was in disguise. It was Eric Bishop.
Yeah.
that was
because
great.
they did the whole 3-minute warning thing, didn't they?
Yeah, the 3-minute warning came out and whipped ass out there.
Once was Umaga.
Yeah, Umaga.
He was another one that should have been world champion. Like, he was a bad sumbitch.
Yeah, but a lot of people said he could have been world champion. Yeah, he could have been world champion, though. But the problem was that John Cena got a hold of him, because a lot of people were saying that John Cena was burying talent. Because, for example, Umaga's example, because Umaga, they built him up indestructible. Soon as they throw him in front of John Cena, what does John Cena do? John Cena beats him. And then after John Cena gets a hold of him, everybody can beat Umaga. Same thing with Rusev. Everyone can beat Rusev. I mean,
where's he been for a while? Like, I ain't seen or heard nothing out of him in a minute either.
Yeah, he's I don't know what's going on. They don't have nothing for him right now at the moment, I'm assuming, because I know his contract's coming up here soon, and I think.
So you think he's going to make the jump?
I don't think he's going to make the jump, because a lot of the people, WWE wants to keep a lot of their talent right now because of AEW, because a lot of talent is unhappy. It came out a while back ago on the dirt sheets and a lot of internet wrestling sites.
Oh yeah, there's like, I know of for a fact, like 6 people that's asked for their releases and not got them yet.
Yeah, Luke Harper was one of them. They said no.
Yep.
He's been great after his injury since November. They've done nothing with him, but they've done something with Eric Rowan. They put Eric Rowan with Daniel Bryan, and that's worked out great.
Rowan, I mean, I'm not taking anything away from the guy, but like, Harper is a much much better wrestler, worker, all around than Rowan ever was.
But I agree and disagree with you right there, man, because Rowan, he has gotten better since being with Daniel Bryan.
I don't doubt that.
He's rubbed up off on him, because when they did that, when they had the what the hell was that pay-per-view right before Extreme Rules? Breaking Ground. Okay, it was right after WrestleMania, because it was in Daniel Bryan's hometown. When Daniel Bryan and Rowan got the biggest pop that night when they went up against Heavy Machinery, because they were in his hometown. Rowan got a big pop because he was with Daniel Bryan, though, but people were popping for him because when he was in the ring putting his stuff in, people were cheering him. You know, people were cheering him. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know how that goes too. Like, there's some places you can go that's just absolutely a heel town. That's what we call them. You know, like, you get in front of like some people, and some people, you know, they love the big, you know, the big good guy, the one that always wants to pander and play to everybody, you know, and slap five and kiss babies and stuff. You got those fans that's rabid for those people.
Yeah.
But then you have some shows and venues that you can go to that straight up will boo those type of guys out of the building because they want to see the what I guess the badasses, if you want to call them that, the guys that goes out there and don't really give a shit, and they'll do whatever it takes to win, in the spirit of competition.
Exactly. Now, this just really just dawned on me here for a minute. You know where SummerSlam's going to be at?
No. Where are they having it at this year?
All right. Tell me if you remember this. Remember what Jerry Lawler used to say when they used to go up north? He said, "We're in Bizarro Land."
Oh, they're having it in fucking Philadelphia?
No, Toronto, Canada.
Oh, shit. Well, if it's in Toronto... Lord.
You know what that's going to mean? Because here's a perfect example. Remember back when Edge was WWE champion? Remember that?
Yep.
When him and Lita were running around? Remember when John Cena started feuding with him, trying to go after the title? Okay?
Right.
All right. Cena was getting cheered here in the States. What happened?
But when they went to Canada, it was Edge was the man and Cena was getting booed out of the building. Well, hell, take it a step further and go farther back.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart.
Exactly.
He was Shawn Michaels was loved everywhere in the States. They hated the Hart Foundation.
Yep.
As soon as they go to Canada, it's reversed.
It's reversed.
Bret Hart's the biggest hero of them all, and he's the dirtiest fucker there, at the time.
Exactly. Now, do you have access? Do you have the WWE Network?
Yeah.
Okay, go back, because Steve Austin mentioned this a while back ago, because I think it was last year. It was like the 25th anniversary of the Canadian Stampede pay-per-view in your house. Did you ever see that?
Yep.
Remember that? The Hart Foundation went up against, it was Goldust, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and all these guys were cheered here in the States. The Hart Foundation was booed. Who was the biggest hero there that night? It was the Hart Foundation, man. They booed.
The Hart Foundation.
Yeah. Austin said he had to play to the crowd, man, because basically he told the guys, because I guess some people back in the back were like, "Yeah, you guys, man, they're gonna love you tonight," and he was like, "No, they're not."
They're not.
They're not. He goes, "No, they're not." He said the roles are reversed tonight. So basically, Austin said to the guys, "We got to listen to this crowd, because we got to do what this crowd wants, because that's you got to play to the crowd," and they did, and it's still listed as one of the best pay-per-views that WWE's ever had. And I went back and watched it, man. It was pretty damn awesome.
Oh yeah.
It was, man. That crowd, man, was so loud that you could not hear yourself think.
I guarantee it. Like, the guys could have sat there and called each other's moms whores or whatever, and they probably wouldn't have heard it.
No, they wouldn't have heard it. They would not have heard it.
But hell, there was a chair shot in that match, and when it was on TV, you couldn't even hardly hear the chair hit because of how much noise the crowd was making. And like, I love like crowds like that. Like, we went and done an Apple Festival last year.
Mm-hmm.
That crowd was loud like that.
Yeah.
Or at least during my match, they was like, you got. Like, I'm gonna take a minute to brag on myself, I guess you can say.
Okay.
Like at KZW, like, you've got these guys that goes out and all they want to do is have the best match, and they want to impress the guys and impress the vets and impress the fans. When they go out there, you might hear a clap every now and then, but most of the time you hear crickets.
Yeah.
But when Jeremy Rage goes out that curtain, it's a whole different ball game, because they hate me. You hear people cheering me. You get shit thrown at you. I mean, they come alive when I'm out there.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's kind of what we do this for, is for people that pays their hard-earned money to see what we do. I mean,
right.
if they want to throw shit at me and they don't like me because the way that I am and the way that I honestly believe things, then, that's fine. That's on them. But when it comes right down to it, I'm winning matches, and they're paying to see me win matches.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, I love those rabid fans,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, they pay their money. They can cheer. They can boo you, and that's just basic.
Well, I mean,
that's how it goes.
That way with anything.
Mm-hmm. It does. It does. What do you think about October 2nd, AEW coming to TNT, man?
I cannot wait for that. I mean, I'm not a big ass mark for them.
Right.
But I mean, I enjoy the competition that they put on. I love how they're, setting up their promos and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like the old back in the day promos that they've been cutting.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be good, man, because, I mean, it's on Wednesdays, so they're not, and it's like they said, they're not looking to compete with WWE. They're just giving people an alternative.
Exactly. Yeah.
And, I mean, I look forward to it. Like, I want to see what they got, because the last 4 or 5 shows that they've done, they've knocked it out of the park.
They have. They have knocked it out of the park. I went to Fighter Fest. It was right here in my own backyard here in Daytona Beach. I went to that.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, me and my wife went to that. I put some pictures up there on the Instagram, on the Everett Lee Show Instagram, and I got some good response back on it. I tried to go live when I was there, and I was on Facebook. I was recording live, and I was like, yeah, man, this is great. So when I got home, I jumped on the PC right here and I looked. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me, man?" What happened was it only recorded the first 3 seconds, and it looped it.
Oh, shit.
So I was sitting there going, I was like, really? Because when I was sitting there filming around, I'm like, wow. I'm sitting there with my phone. I'm like, wow. This is great, man. And I'm sitting there, just doing my thing. And then all of a sudden, I get home, I looked at it, and I was like, damn. So I had to delete it because David Russell, he put a comment up. I forget what he put up, though, but I deleted it because it just wasn't that great. But here's the thing with AEW. When I was sitting there in the crowd with everyone, a lot of people that was behind me, when Jungle Boy was wrestling, they're like, who's that? And someone mentioned, that's Jungle Boy. That's Luke Perry's son. Oh, Luke Perry? Yeah, Luke Perry. Oh, I remember him from 90210. That's his son out there? Yeah, MJF. Who's this guy out here in the pink trunks? That's MJF. Who the heck is...
I love that guy.
Yeah, he's like their top... he's their top bad guy right there. But... But
who are you going to say is going to be their first champion? I'm going to say probably Jericho.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like to see Hangman get it myself.
I would too. Here's where I'm concerned, because AEW is about giving opportunities and chances to people. Okay, that's why a lot of people love and hate. Well, we'll say the love-hate relationship, because a lot of people like that they want to give people opportunity, and that's not had an opportunity. I feel that giving the title to Paige, it will give someone like him an opportunity. I will say eventually he will get that title. However, I feel that Jericho is going to be their first champion, because basically they want someone that people know. Okay.
Well,
everyone.
I'm the same way as you. Only, we'll put it like this: if Jericho, the company itself would probably want Jericho to be their first world champion,
right,
to legitimize that world title.
Exactly.
Because of the career that he's had and where he's came from, and he's a household name. Like, you can't say Chris Jericho and expect somebody not to be like, oh yeah, he's a wrestler.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And I think that's that's pretty much what you was saying too. But I'm kind of like 100% with you on that one. That would be it would put the company legitimate. It would make people tune in. It would turn heads.
It would. It definitely would make people turn heads because he's their champion. Because people, it's true. Chris Jericho's champion, and plus, if you look at it, he would be, I guess, he'd break some kind of record because he already broke a record for being the first person to hold the Intercontinental Championship and in WWE and in New Japan. So he broke that record right there.
He would be the first guy in history to hold every major singles title in every promotion that he's gone.
Yeah, except Impact.
The Big Show broke the record of being world champion on all the big three promotions, except they put that on his records.
Yeah.
But that's really not true. Like when he became ECW world champion, that was the WWE's reincarnation of it. That wasn't the real ECW.
Right. That was the relaunch of ECW because that's on the network there. I like to go back and watch that because I remember watching ECW when they revamped it there on Tuesday nights on Sci-Fi. And I remember watching, what was it, Tommy Dreamer's retirement match where he said, I'm done watching it there. That was the one hell of a freaking match, man. I'd like to go back and just watch it, just to feel that and see that moment again. But because Paul Heyman walked away from it there because of Vince, him and Vince butted heads over creative. So, I mean, ECW was winning in the ratings right there. Again, it was beating Raw and SmackDown. So Vince
and that's when they started putting that cap on Paul Heyman of like, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, and that's when Paul was like, fuck this.
Exactly. Paul Heyman's going to do what Paul Heyman wants to do.
He knows, like, he's a friggin' evil genius of wrestling. Like, he, honest to God, knows what, like, he's more in touch with the nowadays fans than, like, say, Vince McMahon is. Because you remember back in the day, WWE, they was all about no blood, and you couldn't hit people with chairs. Then you've got the alternative, which was ECW, which was fucking pretty much crucifying people every fucking Tuesday night.
Exactly.
And then you got WCW, where you could find, like, some of the, like, technical wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true right there. But, yeah, well, I don't know if you know this, though. Paul Heyman right now is running creative behind Raw right now.
Oh, yeah. Paul Heyman is the guy over Raw, and Eric Bischoff's the guy over SmackDown. Like, when I heard that, I almost fucking, like, I thought I was having a stroke at first when I first heard it. And they was like, no, it's for real. And they was showing me, and I was like, so here's Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Sitting at home one day, and he's just going, I wonder how I can make WWE as good and as hot as it was back in the 90s.
Exactly.
And he goes, oh, I know. I'll just get the guys who almost beat me to run my show for me. So he gets Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff. Yeah, he gets Bischoff to run SmackDown. He gets Heyman to run Raw. But one of the things is that Heyman and Bischoff, a lot of people were like, well, it's like, we want to see change right now. This product is the current product is crap. We want to see changes. Slowly, there should be changes here. I have to say, right after SummerSlam, you're going to start seeing a lot of changes with a lot of things. Oh, yeah.
Because they already fired like 2 writers off of Raw, and I think they already got rid of 1 from SmackDown. So Bischoff and Heyman are slowly getting into that role there. But it was reported this week that Vince did not like how SmackDown was wrote this week. So, however, Vince decided to have a rewrite. So it changed like I forget how many times it changed, but Vince changed it because he didn't like it, because Vince still gets the final word on the product. He gets he gets the final word, because he may have Heyman and Bischoff, they report directly to him, but Vince will look at something and say like, I don't like that, let's change it.
Yeah.
And
well, I mean,
yeah,
you got to think about it though. I mean, like if Vince would, if he would, he would just go home to Connecticut, enjoy time with his fucking family, and sit back and watch his son-in-law and his children take that place to a whole new level. Because if you've got Paul Heyman writing for Raw and Bischoff writing for SmackDown and writing freely, you know what I mean by freely, like their personal ideas, and have Triple H just be the guy who's overseeing NXT and everything and both sides of Raw and SmackDown, like, like ratings would pick up. Because, I mean, just look at how high the ratings got for the whole Fiend thing when Bray Wyatt reinvented himself.
Yeah.
Like, the ratings there has fucking spiked. And he's doing the same thing he did when he left. He's fighting Finn Balor.
Yeah, he is. But you know what the crazy thing about that is, about the Fiend and the Firefly Funhouse? That was all Bray Wyatt's idea, and they let him run with it. They let him run with it, because I think that's much better, because a veteran and legend once told me that back in WWE, the talent basically did their own promos. Okay.
Oh God, yeah. Back in the day, in the 90s and shit, in the 80s, back in like when I was growing up with my uncle going to shows.
Yeah.
The talent came up with those promos. Like everything they said was straight out of their own head. Like if you was a great promo guy, that was because you was good. Like Austin 316, the biggest fucking one of them all. That come out of his own noodle. That wasn't wrote down and retched to him by some little jabroni writer. And it's like, oh, here, this is what we need you to say this week.
Yeah.
And like nowadays, that's the problem with guys nowadays. Because if you notice now, Everett, from back in the day up till now, you ever notice how the new millennium, like guys and girls wrestling-wise, like they won't do promos. They hate promos. They would rather set their shorts on fire, I guess, than not do a promo. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
and back in my day,
WWE,
we had to do them.
Yeah, you had to do them because it was more legitimate. WWE, they do have the promos. You have to go on social media now. You have to go on their website, their YouTube page. One thing this week that really bugged the shit out of me about promos. Since you're talking about promos, one thing that bugged the shit out of me was the fact that this week, it was last week, when Charlotte Flair, basically Trish Stratus came back on SmackDown, did this thing with Jerry Lawler about, maybe one more match. Charlotte Flair came out. Charlotte basically got face-to-face with her. Charlotte was sitting there talking and was like not looking Trish directly in the face, was looking off on the side there the whole time. Trish is here. Here she is looking that way. It's like, what the fuck are you looking at? It's like,
pretty much, like blatantly, you can take that two ways. She was either basically blatantly disrespecting Trish and her accomplishments, which, if so, bravo to her for, being a bitch.
Yeah.
Or that she was nervous of the situation that she was now finding herself in, which was that Trish Stratus is a Hall of Famer and she was one of the best. And back in my growing up time, Trish was this generation's Charlotte. Trish was, her and Lita was the ones that was doing all these kick-ass things. And now look, this generation, they've got Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch.
Exactly. Back when they were giving women 5-minute matches, Trish and Lita were like tearing it up, because if you actually look at Trish, look at the background Trish Stratus came from. Trish Stratus was one of those Iron Man magazine like persons, You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, she was a physical fitness person.
She was a physical fitness person. She got into the business, and she was trained by Fit Finley, for God's sakes. Fit Finley. He was. I loved watching him wrestle back when he was doing WCW stuff. Back when he was there. God dang, man, that guy could freaking basically he can put you in a wrist lock, and I would sit there and watch him at home put someone in a wrist lock, and my fucking wrist would hurt just watching it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I mean Fit Finley, he's brutal.
Yeah, and he has patience. The reason why these women, like a lot of the women wrestlers, did so well, Trish Stratus is a perfect example because he trained her, and she put in the time and effort. She wanted to learn this. She didn't want to go out there and look pretty and have a 2-minute match and look pretty. No. She basically went out there and made a 2-minute match look like a 5-minute match. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
She took the opportunity. You have 2 minutes.
She took advantage of the opportunity that they give her. I mean, if
exactly.
they give you 5 minutes from curtain to curtain, you know, you go out there and you tie it up, and it better be the best 5 minutes curtain to curtain that's on the card.
Exactly. So Trish basically she took that time and she made the best of it. She put in the hard work and everything for it, and if you look from the time from I forget when did she retire? When the hell did she retire?
2003.
2003. If you look at from 2003, if you look at 2000 to 2003, right in there, those 3 years.
I told you wrong.
No.
Because she started in 2000.
Yeah, 2000.
7 years, so 2007 she retired. That's right. Because she was there for 7 years. So 2007 is when she retired.
If you look at from 2007 all the way from 2003 to 2007, right there, Trish, her skills and everything were like basically like, oh shit. She main evented.
Well, yeah, and she kept getting better every match.
Exactly, because she kept going back and putting the time in. She's like, I won't. That's what it takes. That's what it takes. Unlike a example like this, like Eva Marie. Eva Marie, that girl could have went she could have went places. Okay, she was trained.
By Brian Kendrick.
Exactly. What the hell? She went back to NXT. Look what happened. She basically took one move from Brian Kendrick and used that. She learned how to do high flying off like her Karanas, like mid-rope dives, all that stuff.
She learned a lot.
She didn't use
but
it.
She was a lazy person. Like she didn't want it. You know what I mean? Like her drive was not there. She was just simply there to collect the paycheck and, oh, look at me and my bright red hair, and tried to make a run off of it and do like some of the girls back in the day did. And when the people does things like that, like John Cena and The Rock, like, you know, yeah, they had their wrestling careers, but I call those people whores in the business because you get in the business, you make a little name for yourself, you carve a body of work out that's pretty decent, and then you go Hollywood.
Yeah.
You claim you'll never leave again and all this shit when you come back and make an appearance, but then what happens? They up and leave again.
Yeah.
Like everything that Cena done it to himself, and that's why people will no longer believe or buy into John Cena, is, you know, he was like Kevin Nash. He had 8 moves that he would do in a match.
Yeah.
And he would win. But the whole time he feuded with The Rock, you remember that feud, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I remember that feud.
He dogged The Rock for leaving, coming back and saying, I'm never leaving again because I'm home. And what did he do? He left again.
Exactly.
But what did John Cena do? He got his ass beat down by Brock Lesnar. He knew that the world title was not in his picture anymore because of Lesnar.
Yep.
And he left and went to Hollywood. He came back at the Raw reunion or whatever, made his little speech, and then what happened?
Gone again. And I'm glad you brought that up because, yeah, John Cena called The Rock out on it and stuff because at that time.
And he's the biggest fucking hypocrite because, I mean, The Rock was at least honest about it.
Yeah. But you probably didn't read that John Cena basically understood why he came out and said, you know what? I understood why The Rock did what he did now. Because at that time he didn't. Because he was like calling him out on it and stuff. But look at look at Batista. Do you think did you now honestly, okay, Batista, he did his wrestling thing. He left in 2010. Okay.
Yep.
He went off and did a bunch of low budget movies and everything. Okay. Right. And all of a sudden he does this one movie called Guardians of the Galaxy. And
Drax the Destroyer.
Look at the paycheck he walked away with because look how much money that movie made. And he came back in 2014. Okay. Now, when he came back in 2014, they basically were like, yeah, we're going to put the rock on you. He was like, the first thing he said, because he kept up with the product at the time. What was going on in 2014? There was this one movement that was going on. That was 3 letters by
Daniel
a guy.
Bryan.
Exactly. He knew that walking into the company. And they told him, yeah, we're going to do this. He goes, no, it's not going to work. He goes, you know how this is going to work? And they're like, how? And he said, you got to make me bad. Oh, no, people's going to love you. And he's like, no. And he's like, they love this guy. They will hate me.
Yeah, they love Daniel Bryan. I read that in that he did like an interview.
Yeah.
And because when he came back, when he made his debut back or whatever, he come out as a big baby face. And people were booing him.
Yeah.
Because they knew that was, Triple H's way of trying to keep Daniel Bryan from the title, and Daniel Bryan was the guy that they wanted. So what did they do? He turned heel, did the Evolution thing, and Daniel Bryan pretty much beat the entire Evolution to get the world title.
Exactly.
I mean, you're absolutely right about that. Absolutely.
Yeah, because Batista knew the timing coming back. He wasn't right because he was coming back, and then that's when the Yes movement was really it just took off. At the time he came back, and Batista knew it. He was like, "Damn, this is a bad time for me to come back." And
yeah.
He knew it, and he was like, you know what, this is not going to work. He's like, I know what you guys want to do because this is not going to work. And even CM Punk, right before he walked out the door of that company, he told him, he said, see, Daniel Bryan, you need to push him because if you're not, you guys are fucking idiots. He told Triple H and Vince that right after the Royal Rumble.
I mean, anybody that goes out there and gets 30,000 people to just scream one word, yes. It's just one word gets them to scream yes to the top of their lungs. And I mean, I don't care what nobody says because I like his wrestling.
Yeah.
Back in Ring of Honor when I met him. When it came to WWE and they made him change it up a little bit, and not so much. But, I mean, you can't argue with the results. I mean, he was their guy. Like when Punk was gone, Daniel Bryan was the guy that filled the void for him.
Exactly.
And they were, pretty much. And, I mean, it was blatant.
Yeah.
WWE was like, no, he's a small guy. We don't, that's not going to ever be our world champion and all this crap.
Right.
Even after CM Punk, pushed the door down on that whole idea.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, after they figured it out and started listening to the people, and like when Bryan won the belt, like that was the best time ever was. Like those fans, I mean, it's pretty much like having sex. Them fans had been fucking for a year wanting Daniel Bryan, and they finally got that nut, at WrestleMania.
They did, because you wanted 80,000 fans to chant yes. I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. And like John Cena, it's like The Rock. Okay, look at The Rock. Okay, he's wrestling. Okay, he's making whatever it is, how much he was a year wrestling. Okay,
right.
And all of a sudden, his popularity bleeds in over to Hollywood. Okay, we want you to do this movie here. You're doing these box office movies that are pulling in millions, and he's walking out with about the same or more than what he's doing in the ring. Okay, now tell me, if you basically whatever you're making, okay,
Right.
and then you go and a door opens up where you can make double from what you're doing with your body in the ring to do and just doing stuff in front of the camera and doing maybe probably a little bit, probably let's say about 25 to almost 50% of your own stunt work, because you know how to
do certain things.
exactly, like the Rundown, for example. The Rock did almost all the stunts in the Rundown. He
Yeah.
did basically almost about all his stunts. Now,
Well, I mean,
Now, would you not want to go through that door and pursue that opportunity because of what you built before? Would you not want to do that?
oh, absolutely. I mean, because that goes back to pretty much the thing that I always tell people right now in the ring, like, work smarter, not harder. Like, you got these guys, because we're glorified stuntmen pretty much. I mean, you think about it. I mean, really, really think about that statement.
Yeah.
Glorified stuntmen. All right? Think about that. So we're going out there, and they're paying us to fight each other. Okay. They're going
Right.
to pay me to fight this fucking guy. And, all I got to do is just dress up a little bit. Okay, cool, no problem.
Uh-huh.
You're going out there and you're doing that 300 days a year, making X amount of dollars, and then this guy comes up and says, hey, I'll triple that money, and all you have to do is maybe this or this, but mostly just stand there and talk. You're damn right. I would be like, cha-ching.
Exactly.
But, I mean, you got guys, now who think, no, I'd never be like that, and look at it as selling out and stuff. Okay. Well, just like I'd say, work smarter, not harder. You're going to sit there for 20 to 25 minutes beating the hell out of each other, going flip, 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 boom, 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 doing all these spots that look pretty, sure. But people's not buying into it. They're
Right.
just sitting there, and they'll give you a clap because, yeah, it looked pretty or it was fucking looked dangerous. All right? But if you work smarter and you get them people emotionally invested in what you're doing, you wouldn't have to hardly do shit.
Exactly. Also, too, if you really look at it, though, but with Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, what he did in the wrestling world, because that opened up the door for him to go to Hollywood and basically
absolutely.
become one of the biggest movie stars in Hollywood. And, of course, you're going to do that. And, he does come back here and there for appearances and stuff.
Right.
One guy, they tried to make him go that route with doing movies was Triple H.
Yep.
Triple H came out and said, you know what? He's like, I don't mind doing, a movie here and there, but however, he's like, my heart is in wrestling. I guess you can agree or disagree with me with that. It's just where your heart is,
Well,
and
yeah,
opportunity,
absolutely.
because Triple H was like, you know what? I love this business. I'm going to do this, and he could have been a big movie star like The Rock, but he didn't want that's not where his heart was.
That's not where his heart lied at. Like, see, I'm that type of person. Like, if I make it to the WWE, all right,
Yeah.
I've for 16 years I have laid a body of work out in wrestling, and I grew up in wrestling. Like, I love it, I do. But if somebody was like, you got to stop wrestling and just make movies, you can't do both, I would probably just stay with wrestling, because making a movie is kind of like a crapshoot, or it's
Yeah.
kind of like, throwing a dart up in the air and just looking straight up with your eyes closed, hoping that it, misses you. You can make this movie, and it could sell billions and blow up. Or it could be, so. And, I mean, in wrestling, it's a for sure thing. Like, you're constantly on the road. You know what you're doing. You've already laid out a body of work. You're known. If you think about it, it's more like security than anything else.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's like a new relationship. Like, if you and your wife was to divorce today, you're not going to be in a big hurry to jump into a new relationship because, that's a scary situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. It is. It is a scary
wrestling
relationship.
and movie thing is kind of hand in hand with the same thing. Like, if you've wrestled for X amount of years and then somebody make a movie, make more money, don't get beat up as much and all this, sure, some people's going to jump on that, and I give them all the props in the world for doing it.
Yeah.
But me, I'm more of like, I'd have to say I'm more of like a Triple H kind of guy. I would rather, I don't care to make a movie here and there, but I would rather stay in wrestling because, that's what I have a passion for.
Exactly. It's where your heart is. It's right there with the business. That's where your heart is. I feel bad. I feel bad for a couple of wrestlers that I would like to seen went a long way. One is Edge. I loved him back in the Attitude Era because he was the mystique and mysterious, and he evolved into a pretty damn good singles competitors because you came to that point where you loved him or hate him, and he was a great tag team with Christian. But I felt that, man, if he didn't have that injury where basically it was like you're done in 2011, just imagine in 2012, 13, 14, the feuds he could have had with who's on the roster.
Him and CM Punk and guys like that. God, yeah, dude.
God dang, yeah, CM Punk.
Think about it right now.
What
Shield. Would happen if he was still wrestling right now? The matches he could have had with Ambrose, the matches he could have had with Rollins.
Yeah.
Dude,
Reigns.
He fucking made Batista look like he could actually wrestle.
Yeah. And then what was it? His matches he had with his feud he had with Triple H. That was great.
His feud he had with Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah, Guerrero.
The fucking matches that him and Eddie put on SmackDown, even the ladder match, was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just imagine that, and then look at Paige. Look at her. Another example. Look at who she could be feuded with right now on the main roster, like Sasha Banks, Bayley.
Oh God, yeah.
Freaking here's Alexa Bliss.
Yep.
There you go.
There's so many good talent on WWE right now that's being wasted just because they have so many. Anybody who's anybody from the Indies back when I was coming up and everything, and it's a who's who right now that's in WWE, and half those guys you just see them sporadically, and like EC3.
Yeah, exactly.
He carved out a body of work in TNA that was outstanding, and he went from being a job guy in WWE to TNA to being the main event, goes back to NXT and does great things, and then when they bring him to the main roster, what do? They put a fucking solo cup in his hand and got him running around chasing R-Truth.
Yeah.
They've got so many guys that they can't do anything with everybody.
Exactly. What do you think about that 24/7 title? Because at first, I'll tell you how I feel about that. At first, I said to myself, this is almost like the hardcore title, but without the hardcore. And at first, I said to myself, this is freaking ridiculous. But as it went on, R-Truth has made it really damn good because
people look forward to seeing that 24/7 gimmick because it's hilarious.
It's hilarious. I honestly, the funniest moment right now with the 24/7 title. Something's happening in my microphone. The funniest moment right now with the 24/7 title would have to be when freaking they were going over to the Middle East, and he was on the plane after Jinder Mahal won the title, and Jinder Mahal was asleep in the seat, and
Oh, yeah.
yeah, and then all of a sudden R-Truth covers him, and then R-Truth's running around the plane, and they're like 30,000 feet up in the air, and he's trying to hide from everybody.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's just like friggin' Mike Kanellis and his woman.
Oh,
All right?
God.
Maria's pregnant, wins the 24/7 title. Well, you know nobody's going to fuck with her, but here she goes Monday night. She went to the OBGYN thing, and Mike Kanellis, while she's laying there with her eyes closed, covers her, and the fucking doctor was a ref. I mean, they come up with some ridiculous shit,
Yeah.
like setups and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but, like, it's entertaining.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. Like, at first, when I first saw it and I first heard about it, I thought it was the most ridiculous thing ever.
I did too. I
was like, why not just bring the hardcore title back out? Because ratings would have shot up if
Oh,
they'd
my
brought the freaking hardcore championship back and started doing those matches again. Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
I'm waiting for someone to come out with a chair. I'm waiting for someone to come out with a chair. I'm waiting for that. It's going to happen sooner or later, I think.
R-Truth with the 24/7 title, him and that little rock star Spud guy.
Yeah. Drake Maverick.
They have turned into Crash Holly and Al Snow, how they feuded for the hardcore title. That's exactly what those two guys have turned into, but they've made it more entertaining than more so than about actual wrestling like Crash and Al did back in the day. They were more about the wrestling aspect.
Yeah. Now, do you remember when the 24/7 rule was in effect when Crash went to that one, what was it, like that Chuck E. Cheese place and the headbangers?
Oh, yeah, when he went to the little play place and had to run through the fucking ball pit and stuff to get away from the headbangers. He knocked a child over.
Oh my God, I loved stuff like that, man. It was great. And then hearing the commentary, especially like King, he's like, look, he's like Pac-Man. He's running through like a video game, and all of a sudden you hear JR like, oh my God, there comes the headbangers. And it's just like,
well, I mean, you couldn't even hear them on like when they did the ball pit gimmick because Jerry Lawler had taken his headset off because he was laughing. You could hear JR and him cracking up on the friggin' headset. I've talked to JJ a couple of times wanting them to do like a hardcore. I was like, why don't you guys do a hardcore title with the 24/7 thing? Like, you know how entertaining that could be?
Oh my God, yeah, that.
I mean,
Oh
yeah,
man.
It's been done, sure,
Yeah.
but I mean, you think about it. You got some of these guys that live pretty close together. So, I mean, you think about it like, say I was a champion or whatever. Me and my family's out on a date with the kids or something, and then all of a sudden turn around and the waitress fucking super kicks you, and it turns out to be like, Michelle or one of the friggin' big baby faces or whatever at KZW. Like, I think it would be great.
Just imagine that. Hey, waiter. I'd like to, have my order taken. It's like, what would you like? A super kick?
Yeah, what would you like? I would take a super kick, bam, and he's done.
1, 2, 3. Everyone in the restaurant would be calling 911 on their phone.
Oh yeah, see, like in my hometown down here, where I'm from, like if you go to Walmart or whatever, and some shit like that was to break out, like they would call the police so fast, like, and you couldn't explain it to them. Like there would be no way to explain it to them. You would just be end up going to jail.
You would imagine you. Let's say you and cousin Frank are in the middle of Walmart. There, you're over in the men's section. You're sitting there with a referee.
Yeah, I'm sitting there just like, chilling, waiting on Frank to come around the corner, and then all of a sudden, throw a back on him or something, and pin his ass and shit. Like, people would lose their fucking minds.
That'd be something right there. That'd be something. you and like B.W. Anderson, would be fighting over who'd get the title.
Yeah.
It would bring the worst or the best out of you. It would.
Right. That, and like I said, on that same scenario, flip that to Kaylin. If I want something like that, like me and her's always training and shit anyway, like she could catch me asleep or something, in the middle of the day during a nap. All she have to do is turn the damn camera on, and have a referee, come here to the house, as long as it's a licensed official ref. She could just lay on top of me, and I just, and unconscious thinking would be like, well, she's just hugging up to me, and the next thing I know, she took the fucking belt from me.
Just like Maria, man. That would be crazy. That would be crazy to actually see KZW pull something off like that. I think it would be great, man. It would be great. It'd be great entertainment and stuff and everything. I definitely think it would be freaking great. But who the hell would get the title? And then you're having a match and stuff. What I like about the 24/7 title was just how R-Truth has basically just. He's lost it. He won it. He's lost it. He's won it. He'll
be the guy goes down in history for winning the 24/7 title the most out of anybody.
Exactly. He's won that title so many damn times, though. If you look on Wikipedia right now, I bet if you ask Alexa would freaking tell you how many times. But
I guarantee it. Like that's something that we need to do, Everett. Like we need to get another date set up. To me and you get back together on a podcast, and we need to look into exactly, since it's been in existence, how many times R-Truth has won the title.
Yeah. Actually, I got my web browser pulled up right here. Let me take a look right here. I'm typing it right now. WWE 24/7 belt. All right, Wikipedia. They update Wikipedia all the damn time. Okay.
Right.
All right, it's loading. Here we are. The first title was Titus O'Neil. He was the first champion. Okay, Reigns. Let's see. Okay, that didn't tell me nothing. Okay, here we are. List of 24/7 champions. Here we go. Right here. Let's see. Titus. Check this out. Titus, Bobby Roode, R-Truth, Elias, R-Truth, Days, Reigns. Let's see. Okay, R-Truth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. He's held the title 11 times. Drake Maverick 4, Maria once, Elias twice, Jinder twice, Mike Kanellis twice, Alondra Blaze, Candice Michelle, Sandra Alexandra, EC3, Gerald Briscoe, Heath Slater, Kelly, Pat Patterson, Robert Roode, Ted DiBiase, and Titus O'Neil.
See, right there, 11 times. He's an 11-time champion.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's guys like Steve Austin didn't even win the world title that many times. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Now, it's neat because this right here on Wikipedia, it tells how many times and where notes. Okay, R-Truth pinned Titus. R-Truth pinned Robert Roode in the parking lot. Okay,
right.
After the 24/7 temporary stipulation was lifted, R-Truth pinned Elias in the ring after Elias was speared by Roman Reigns.
Yep.
Okay, R-Truth pinned Jinder Mahal on a golf course, which I didn't see. Oh, God. Okay, and then R-Truth pinned Elias underneath the ring. Okay, R-Truth pinned Jinder Mahal while he was sleeping on an airplane. He locked himself in the bathroom. R-Truth pinned Drake Maverick during his wedding, which I thought was freaking hilarious.
God, dude, he pinned him while he was with his wife naked under the covers.
I know. Hey, here we go. R-Truth pinned Heath Slater in the ring as Slater was trying to escape from other wrestlers. R-Truth pinned EC3 at the entrance ramp when he was distracted by Carmella. Okay, here we go. R-Truth bribed a ref to dress up as a hotel worker for him to get... Yeah, that happened right there, like you just said. R-Truth pinned Drake Maverick backstage as Maverick was trying to leave the building in a limousine. That was during the Raw reunion. Then he pinned Mike Kanellis in the waiting room of an OBGYN while disguised as a pregnant woman.
You see, though, what I'm talking about? Like, how fucking, just how goofy shit comes.
You know what? Okay, check this out. You got the 24/7 title. It's been on Raw. It's been on SmackDown. Has it been on 205 Live? Has it been on NXT yet?
It's been on 205 Live, the 24/7 has, because Buddy Murphy, I saw something where he attacked whoever held it at the time. I think it was Drake Maverick.
Yeah.
And tried to beat him for it, but didn't. Something happened, and Buddy ended up getting attacked, and Drake got out of there. But as far as it been on NXT yet, no. Okay.
It needs to be on NXT. You know what needs to happen? Okay. This Saturday night, NXT TakeOver will be in Toronto, Canada. Okay?
Yep.
They need to have R-Truth do something and run through NXT. They need to have that. NXT has not got it yet. And if they go back overseas, R-Truth needs to head over to
UK, yeah.
Exactly, because Mick Foley stated, a lot of people's forgot about this. He stated that this title could be defended on any show. It can be defended on Raw.
Yeah, it can be took at any time.
Anytime. Raw, SmackDown, NXT 205 Live, NXT UK. It needs to go to NXT because who can you imagine, for example, Johnny Gargano like doing a running knee to R-Truth in the locker room and taking the title?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you think about it, like R-Truth could just be doing his deal like he used to do back in the day, like cutting a promo, and they'd be like, "Why are you here? This is TakeOver." And he'd be like, "Oh, my bad." And when he sets the mic down and turns around, boom, he gets killed out by fucking Gargano or
Adam
like
Cole,
Bobby Fish or somebody, or Roderick Strong, and gets it took. And then boom, they go to UK all the time. So then when they would go up there, you'd have somebody like Pete Dunne take it from them, and shit. Like, that belt will probably get filtered through every promotion that they have under the WWE brand.
Yeah, that would be funny. Would that not actually seem like like Adam Cole or Velveteen Dream or Pete Dunne taking him out, or just someone like that just taking him out, showing up at NXT. But here's the funny thing: you ever notice how he calls the 24/7? He calls it his 247 European Championship.
Yeah.
He'll end up in NXT. They're like, R-Truth, what are you doing here? He's like, I'm here at Survivor Series trying to get away, trying to survive.
Yeah. Oh shit! Be like, I'm just looking for Jimmy. Where little Jimmy at? Somebody actually be named Jimmy would stand up at that point in time. They would.
They would. He's at Survivor Series trying to survive. He's like, this is Survivor Series. I'm going to survive because I got my 247 European Championship. It is like, no, R-Truth, you're in NXT. I'm aware. I'm an OBG. It is like, no, NXT. You're at TakeOver. No one taking my title. Like he showed up at the Royal Rumble. Remember when he showed up at the Royal Rumble that one year? He came out there and he grabs the ladder and pulls it out underneath the ring and puts it in the ring and climbs up the top of the ladder. And everyone stops what the hell they're doing. And they're looking at
Oh,
him
yeah.
like, what
Yeah,
are you
'cause
doing?
everybody didn't know what he was going for, and he was, like, the way I took it is he was like, well, it's money in the bank, ain't it?
Oh, man.
I swear, like, the older I get, the funnier things like that become to me, because I remember, like, the hardcore title, like, when Raven and Rhino and guys was killing one another with fucking trash can lids and stuff, you know, like, those were some badass matches. And now they've took the weapons away and made it funny. You know, like, you start seeing the funny side of shit.
Yeah. Like I said, at first I didn't care. I didn't really give a shit about this, but someone who made it interesting, like R-Truth, you now want to see when he loses it. It's like, how is he going to get it back now? How's he going to get this title back?
You think about that title and you instantly put R-Truth to that title.
Exactly.
I mean, that's how it's become now. He's like the 24/7 guy, you know.
He's legitimized it, actually. What do you agree?
There
you think?
go. That's what I was looking for right there. Yeah.
He legitimized it because when he loses, it's like, oh shit! Like on Raw, did you check out Raw Reunion? How many times that went around? You didn't? Okay.
No, I didn't get to watch it.
If you go on YouTube, want me to tell you what happened? Okay. He had the title, and then Drake Maverick wins it back. Okay. Drake Maverick wins the title, and then he runs into the locker room, and the Boogeyman freaks him out. He's in the locker room because he was going to grab his bags and leave. And Pat Patterson knocks him down and puts his foot on him, pins him, takes the belt, and he runs off, and he runs into Kelly Kelly. Kelly Kelly knees him in the balls, pins him, takes the belt, runs into Candice Michelle, Naomi, Melina, and all three of them. And then Melina says to Kelly Kelly, he's like, yeah, I got my license. And she's like, license for what? And she strips off her outfit, and it's a referee outfit. She's like, for a referee. And then Candice Michelle knocks Kelly Kelly out, takes the title. She's the champion. And she's sitting there celebrating. Alundra Blaze comes up, chokes her ass out. She taps out. So Melina says, you know, ring the bell. And so Alundra Blaze wins the 24/7 title. Then she goes out to the stage and she says, you know what? I said I wasn't going to win this title and something else. I can't remember. But she says, this is what I'm going to do with the title. And she pulls out from behind the announcer desk a trash can. And,
oh, shit.
Yeah, she's about to throw it in there, and then all of a sudden you hear, ha, 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 money, 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 money.
DiBiase bought the fucking thing.
He bought, like he did Andre, where Andre sold him the belt. He's like, tell me also, you want the belt? And he gives him the belt, you know. He's like, I take $1 million. So, you know, so Andre takes the belt, you know. He's like, what do you do with all that money, Andre? Gonna buy wine and women. Oh, ha, ha, ha.
Yeah, beer and bitches.
Yeah, beer and bitches. But, yeah, he buys the belt from Alundra. So he's walking off to the back to his limo. He gets inside the limo. DiBiase gets in the limo, and all of a sudden you hear, like, all this commotion. And pops out of the other side of the door from the limo is Drake Maverick. He got in there, whipped DiBiase's ass, took the belt. And right when he was about to leave with this woman, R-Truth shows up and pins him. And his wife jumped in the car. Maverick's wife jumped in the car. He's like, come on, come on. And R-Truth pins Maverick before he gets in the limo, jumps in the limo as the limo speeds off with Maverick's wife. Carmella's standing there looking at Maverick, and they're both looking at each other like, really? It's like, what the hell is that? And then R-Truth won the title after all that right there.
Jesus Christ, man. There's what Raw was that whole Monday night. It was nothing but getting that belt legitimate and getting that belt over. That's what that was.
Exactly.
And that was actually a cool excuse to get all the old fuckers and stuff back together.
Yeah. Oh,
but
yeah.
Think about it. Look the list that you just named off. Mm-hmm. Look who held that title: Pat Patterson, Briscoe, all these champions and world champions and stuff from back in the day, all these legitimate guys and girls. And now look, the belt's legit.
Yeah, the belt's legit. It definitely is, but it's entertainment, man. It is definitely entertainment. It is definitly entertainment.
Oh, you best believe it. You best believe it is. Like, I mean, yeah, it's a sport. I mean, if we're gonna get down to like, because you know, like you've got some viewers it's sports entertainment, and you have these other viewers who's kind of like my mindset, and like it's a sport, you know.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's a sport. To me, it's a sport. It's always been a sport. You know, it's a job. But think about it, like football, it's a contact sport. What we do is you know, yeah, it's different, but it's a contact sport. You know, it is a sport. It's not entertainment to me. Like, yes, you can be entertained by it. And, you know, if you pay your ticket price of admission or you don't watch it on TV or what have you, yeah, you can be entertained by that, sure. So in that aspect, I can understand somebody calling it entertainment. But, like, it's not sports entertainment. Like, I'm not going out there and whipping this guy's ass or getting beat on myself, putting me and my wife-to-be in harm's way, and getting paid to just, you know, go out there and entertain people. Like, I could give a shit less about people.
Right.
You know, I'm out there because of the sport of competition and the victories that come with that. Like, I mean, you know, like, all right, for instance, you know, Everett Lee podcast.
Yeah.
On the network. You want that to be the best podcast, you know, bar none, hands down. That's the most watched, most rated, all of that. All right? True or false?
Yeah. I want the Everett Lee Show to be the top podcast here on Podcasting Network.
And and you have competition. I mean, you may even have a podcast rival. I don't know, but but it's, you know, it's the sport of competition. You know, it's the spirit of competition about it. Like, you know, that's the same thing that we do. Like what we do, we all want to be the best. Just like in the podcast world, you're the best. I mean, as far as that is, if you want to go hand in hand with that, it's kind of like you and Russell, you know, kind of have a little feud or whatever because, you know, his podcast is kind of, you know, pretty popular. Your podcast is fucking up there. I mean, and, you know, and I'm one of the guys who's worked for both.
Yeah.
You know, it's like WCW and WWE. You know, I've been to both.
Exactly. It is like that. Yeah, there's one other network I can think of off the top of my head. I'm not going to name any names, and I'm not going to mention any names or anything because all I can say is that they want to compete, but with the stuff and the aces that we have in our pocket that we have not revealed yet as a network to what we're going to be doing and what we plan on doing in the next 5 years. We're like Marvel. We've already laid out what we're going to do in the next 5 years.
Right, you've already laid the game planned out, and all this is just the building blocks from the foundation.
Exactly. Me and the other co-owner, Chris Carnage, we already know what we're going to do next 5 years with this company, with the company, everything is stuff. But we do. There is another network out there that's looking at everything that we're doing and trying to figure out what we're doing. But they're not going to. They're not going to because we're not going to lay our cards out all on the table at once because eventually you're going to see what's going to be happening with Podcasting Network. But that is going to be for us that we already know and for our viewers and listeners to know as time comes. We're going to be giving pieces of that puzzle to you. We're going to give those pieces to our viewers and listeners.
Who knows? You guys could already be, you guys could be fucking the Bray Wyatt of fucking Podcast City Network and be leaving little hints and clues in each podcast, and people don't even realize it. They'll see eventually.
Yeah, they will. They will. Because there for a while, we didn't even mention anything about the 2-day stream that we had, which turned out really well. We had a few weeks ago. I mean, we threw out some numbers there, like 7. People's like, what the hell's with the number 7? And all of a sudden, 24. What's with the 24? And then 19, each month. And then you saw them all together. And then, boom, me and Chris made that announcement on episode 136 of our America edition, what we planned on doing at the end. And people were like, oh, shit. It's like, yeah. So Friday and Saturday, people tune in to see 8 hours of content and shows from Podcast City Network, because basically we got the ability to do that because we knew where the hell we're going with it, and we put our aces where they were at. We crossed our T's, dotted our I's, and we knew what we were doing. And we want to keep everyone guessing what we're going to be doing next, because you don't know, because that's why you got to tune in.
You guys are like wrestlers. I mean, the promoter and the guy who, actually helps, what we call them bookers, helps he helps the promoter, like he's the COO. He's kind of like the chief operating officer. All right. They have a general outline and an idea of what they want the show to be and how they want the show to go, but it takes certain people to pull it off.
Exactly.
Like, all right, in your situation, like podcast guys, they had an idea of what they wanted. They had to get the right guy to fill it, because if they didn't get you, it could have flopped.
Exactly.
And now that they've got one of the top hands, you see how it's playing out now. I mean,
mm-hmm. Yeah, we acquired Podcast City Network has acquired about 2 new shows here, actually 3. Within this year, we lost 2, we gained 3. We lost 2 shows.
I mean, see how that happens?
Yeah, because
you lost 2, and you might have broke even when you got those 2 back. But look at the end result. You ended up gaining an extra 1. So
Exactly. And the new shows that's on the network, actually, if you really do think about it, no, actually, we got 4. We got 4.
You doubled.
Yeah, we doubled because there's the new shows has been added to the network this year. Best Friends podcast show with Heather and Jade. Shout out to the gals there, the ladies of Podcast City Network. There's Movie Nights podcast with Dylan.
Right.
I mean, I'm forgetting. God dang. I don't even know who my host on their shows. I've been having.
He's been up a while. People, let's cut him some slack.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, yeah. Movie Nights podcast. They've taken off their Best Friend Show podcast. The ladies there, they've taken off their Hardcore Heather Owens and Jade. Love those 2. I mean, what they do and talk about. And then there's the Squared Circle City show with Indy Mikey. Great guy. He's building his name for himself in there in the wrestling interview in the wrestling world. Like Robin Nelson and David Russell.
Robin Nelson, I've been on his podcast before.
Yep. And then there's Mark the Shark MMA show. He's a martial artist MMA fighter who interviews upcoming UFC fighters and MMA fighters. I mean, Great show. There's 4 shows right there of different diversities and stuff. I mean, you're looking for stuff like look at new fighters, MMA fighters.
Yeah.
You got Mark the Shark. You're looking at more indie wrestling talk with wrestlers. You got the Squared Circle City show. You wanting like the movie industry, more about movies and stuff and everything, and take on movies, movie nights, and pop culture, and just anything in between, and random bullshit and good shit. You got Hardcore Heather Owens and Jade from the Best Friend Show podcast. You can't go wrong, man.
Podcast City Network, dude, is, it's satiating its fan base. Like, there's a little bit of something for everybody.
It is. We got a different variety, and of course Chris Carnage. Chris Carnage is him and Craig, the Final Score podcast, the sports podcast is taking off, man. They've already hit just about over 1,000 downloads a month for their sports podcast.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
but they ain't nobody got the fucking ratings like Everett Lee when he's got Mr. Wrestling on.
Exactly. Look, iTunes don't lie. If you look at that, you pull iTunes up on your PC, and if you go to the show in iTunes store, you'll see on the side right there. The numbers don't lie.
I checked it out last night. After you had told me about it earlier that day.
Yeah, what'd you think about that?
I just, it blew me away because, I was sitting there looking, and there's a fucking million of them on there. Mm-hmm. But the ones that's got me on there is always the way that we do the podcast, too, when I'm on there, like, it's pretty much open fire and open forum. Like, if you want to ask me a question or whatever.
Yeah.
We let people come in and comment, ask questions and stuff. I just feel like that's how it's working,
Yeah, it is. It is. And this channel right here on Twitch for my show right here, I'm just trying to build this channel up because I've already built up Podcasting Network. And right now, people's jumped in and out tonight. And I know they've went over to podcasting.net here, or not over on twitch.tv/podcasting network. I know they've seen this right now. They can see this broadcast, and then they can jump over to this channel right here and comment and everything and stuff.
Right.
Russell, Deathmatch Russell, he's bowed out. He's bowed out probably a little while ago. But he's left like a bunch of these comments, which is usual, which I don't find surprising.
No, I don't find it surprising anything when it comes to Russell. I don't find it surprising.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't either. I definitely don't either. One thing I want to ask you is, what do you think about next week, man, being released on DVD? We got the I think it's August 13th, the Avengers Endgame DVDs or Blu-ray is finally coming out, man, with bonus content that will make you say OMG. What do you think about that, man?
I can't wait because you know how I am. I'm a big nerd when it comes to that stuff. So as soon as it comes out, I'm probably gonna own it because God bless me with a beautiful woman that she's into the same things that I'm into, and I know how she is. So
right.
As soon as it comes out on Blu-ray and DVD, she's gonna snap it up.
Yeah, it comes out August 13th, and I don't know if you already heard, Avengers Endgame is now the all-time top grossing movie in the world.
I didn't hear that until you just told me, but that don't surprise me either.
Yeah. You know what was I think it was for almost I forgot how long it was, from 1997 till 2009. You know what was the top grossing movie of all time?
What?
Titanic.
Are you kidding me?
No, Titanic. Titanic was the top grossing movie of all time from 1997 until 2009. Guess what movie beat it and was the top movie from 2009 up until for the last 10 years?
I don't know.
Avatar.
I could see that.
It took James Cameron to outdo himself, to beat himself.
You took the words right out of my mouth because I was about ready to say the same thing.
Yep.
It took James Cameron to outdo his own self.
Yeah, and Avatar is a fantastic movie. I've seen it.
Oh yeah,
and it's great because you could see why he outdid himself. And then of course, Avengers finally, the Endgame, finally knocked Avatar out of the top spot. So the top all-time 3 grossing movies is Avengers Endgame,
Titanic, Avatar,
and Titanic.
and now the Avengers.
Yeah, Avengers, Avatar, Titanic. They're the top. That's their top 3 right there. Yeah,
That's crazy.
That is crazy. That is crazy. What do you think about Hobbs and Shaw? I want to see that.
I've not really saw anything about it. I've seen like a trailer for it. And I've heard a few things about it, but I'm just all right. Here's my dilemma with this kind of situation.
Okay.
Like Fast and the Furious, the first like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Okay, they were good movies. They were good movies.
Yeah.
But now they just keep making them and making them and making them and making them, and they all have pretty much the same plot twist.
Yeah.
And when Paul Walker passed away, instead of getting his twin brother to just keep playing the role, which is cool out of respect and everything, I understand that, but they could have kept that franchise going because, that's went through 2 generations now. Because it started in like 99 and 2000.
2000.
But now they've made it about Hobbs and Shaw.
Well, it's a spinoff. It's a spinoff.
Yeah, like a spinoff thing. And I mean, they're going to keep making spinoffs and different things on it until they have pretty much done the John Cena Roman Reigns gimmick of the Fast and Furious, and they've shoved so many of them down your neck that you just don't want to watch no more.
Exactly. I would still. I go to the I went to the theaters and I've seen 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I've saw the last 5 Fast and Furious movies in the theaters. Okay.
Right.
I've went and seen the last 5 in the theaters because I'll admit I'm one of those guys that basically is like, I don't watch that, but I'm one of those, as you call it, what do you call it? I hide at the closet and I watch it. Not let no one know about it. But
right, that's like your dirty little secret. Like, no, I'm not a fan of that. Are you crazy? But secretly, you're a big fucking mark for it,
Yeah, because I love it. I just there's something about it that I love because over the years I've loved the different takes of it and stuff. Out of all 8 of the Fast and Furious, my favorite would have to be 5.
Yeah.
5 would have to be my favorite. Now, they're making 9 right now, and they got John Cena working on 9. And about the love-hate relationship where Vin Diesel and The Rock did with the animosity and stuff. And the rest of the cast was pissed off, especially Tyrese, that he wasn't added into the spinoff of Hobbs and Shaw.
Like, I figured they would for sure put him in, especially when how the last Fast and Furious movie was, when Vin Diesel was pretty much the antagonist through the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I figured they would kind of, like, had the same crew in Hobbs and Shaw, but they don't, and that's weird to me.
Yeah. Well, it's basically The Rock took his own production company and got permission from Universal and did his own spinoff. Ludacris was a little upset about it. He came out about it and he was like, yeah, it is what it is, though. But he's like, none of us supporting cast was even, like, invited to come in it.
Right.
It's like he's doing his own thing. And so Vin Diesel's like, yeah, for the next one, he's like, you know what? He's like, we'll get another wrestler. We'll get John Cena.
Yeah.
And
well, I mean,
I'm interested to see what kind of
because they had heat.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm interested to see what kind of role John Cena's going to play in this one. Apparently, he's going to play some kind of badass. So we'll see.
If he gets to play the villain in a movie, I would actually watch that because now I liked him as a bad guy in wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah. Thugonomics.
Oh yeah, God, yeah. Dude. When that Raw reunion thing happened, like, I ain't gonna lie, because, like, I hate John Cena, I do. But, like, I marked out a little bit when he come out, like, with a Thugonomics gimmick going again. I was like, this motherfucker is gonna turn heel and go back to this shit. I said, I might get behind him this time around, which, didn't happen. But.
What would you think about what he did at WrestleMania 35 this year? with Elias.
I didn't. I didn't even pay attention.
You did not.
I didn't watch it this year. I didn't watch it this year. I really didn't.
Okay, you got the WWE Network. All right. Do this. Go back to WrestleMania 35 and go to the part where Elias is out there. Okay?
Yeah.
I forget where it's at, but go to the Elias part. Okay? Watch that and watch what happens afterwards, and then message me, hit me up, and then let me know what you think. That's all I'm saying.
I'll do it.
That's all I'm saying, because you're going to be like, oh, shit, OMG. It was something that no one thought would have happened and would have saw in a million years. And it happened. So that's all. I'm going to leave it like that right there.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, you definitely got to check it out. And, wow. This has been great, man. This has been one, I think, as of right now, in this moment, this has been one of my favorite podcasts I've done with any guests so far.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been great, man. We've talked about a bunch of stuff. We laughed about a bunch of things, talked about different things and stuff. I was going to tell you, I was going to rant to you, as like, you know what I hate the most about going to a convenience store?
What's that?
Standing behind the person buying every fucking lottery ticket there is.
Oh, God, yeah, dude. I hate that shit. Especially, like, this time at night right now.
Yeah.
All right? It's almost midnight where I'm at.
Yeah. Same
And,
here.
like, if I was to go to the store right now,
Mm-hmm.
for any reason, you know, to just, like, grab a pack of cigarettes or something quick,
Right.
you're always going to have that one asshole standing there buying, like, 60 lottery tickets and scratching the fuckers off on the counter.
Exactly. Right there, right in front of you. All you need is to buy, like, something. Like, for example, you need to buy a beer or a pack of cigarettes or a candy bar. You know, your wife sends you down to the store, give me a candy bar. Or they're going to be sitting right there in front, scratching off all the damn tickets. I get that. I get that, because that would piss me off. That definitely would piss me off, because you're sitting there right there, like, really? And there's like a line of people behind you. That's why.
I mean, you get the double whammy, because not only is that shit going on, but if your wife or your girlfriend or whatever didn't go with you, they know it don't take you no longer usually than just a couple of minutes to go to the store and get cigarettes and come home. But if you got this Dick Jarvis down here doing the fucking lottery ticket gimmick, you're standing there not wanting to be a dick. And then you're going to get home, she's going to be like, where the hell have you been?
Exactly.
What the fuck have you been doing? You know, so you're like, oh, my God.
Exactly. Because you're going to be like, what the hell? Because, yeah, they're just sitting there it's bullshit. I hate dealing with that on a daily basis and stuff. It's just ridiculous.
I couldn't imagine it. I couldn't imagine it. And, like, where you live at in the cities and stuff, like, I couldn't imagine that type of shit, because, like, I've seen the horse shit in, like, Myrtle Beach and, like, these big cities and stuff that I've been to, like, just going into the store and, like, seeing, like, just the prices and stuff like that.
Right.
Let alone how many people they are. And, you know, like, in cities, like, down here, you know, there's plenty of stupid asses, as I call them in the world, sure.
Yeah.
But in, like, cities, the number of people is just way, way different.
It is. It's especially in Daytona Beach, because it is freaking ridiculous with all the freaking people. Because what pisses me off about Daytona is that you run into these people there in the convenience stores that are just, you get the lotto people. And the people that has a pocket full of change of all pennies, and you're sitting there.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
You got the NASCAR folk.
5 o'clock, you just want to come in, grab something cold, pay for it, and get the F out.
Yeah,
and then all
back to the house.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it's like, you got this person, 1, 2,
Don't
3,
it kind of seem like in your situation like you was just talking about, like at that time of day and everything, like,
yeah.
Don't it just seem like all the dumb shits come out at one time, and it's always worst fucking possible time.
Exactly. It's one of the worst damn times you can imagine. I hate stopping at the store, not unless I have to. Unless my wife's like, "Hey, you stop at the store on your way home and grab this from work."
Right. Get the honey-do list out, you know.
Exactly. And what I'll do is I'll stop at the store and I'll grab, whatever she needs. And I'll grab something for myself. And then you get behind that person that's counting out all this change. And then you got this person whose card is declining. And then you got this person who can't see punching in the damn freaking PIN number on their card. And then you got this other person who's basically like, I'll take that 25 here. I'll take that 5 here. I'll take the 10 here. And they're taking them and they're like, okay, all right, I got this ticket right here. See if I'm a winner. Here, I got all these. I got like about 6 things. Am I a winner? And they're running, and you're sitting there, your freaking milk's like dripping, getting warm.
Yeah,
your ice
and stuff because it's getting hot.
Yeah, your ice cream's melting. Your freaking Slurpee is melting. And
your fucking bread's gonna have mold on it by the time you get to pay and get out of there.
Exactly. Tell you what happened one time. My friend, a friend of mine, me and him went to 7-Eleven, and while we're sitting there at 7-Eleven, we ran in there to get coffee. We got coffee. We got in line, and we're sitting there, and we're waiting. As soon as he gets up there, he goes, "Yeah, you guys got birthday cakes?" And they're like, "Birthday cakes?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "As long as I've been waiting in line there, feels like, I've waited about a year now. So I want to know if you got a birthday cake because this is my birthday now."
Shit.
They looked at him and they got pissed, man. They got pissed. Yeah, it was funny and stuff. I got pissed off one time just waiting in line. I'm sitting there waiting in line, waiting. And they were like, I forgot whatever the hell I bought, but I bought something, and then I told him, I was like, you know what, I could probably pay extra for this. And they're like, what do you mean? I said, well, I could draw Social Security now as long as I've been waiting. Yeah, but I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it as that right now. But we went on quite a bit here, and I wanna thank you for coming on tonight here.
Oh, dude, absolutely. Hey, thank you for bringing me back. I mean, this is always my favorite podcast to do. I mean, I'm not choosing sides or picking favorites here, but if I'm going to, then I'm going with Everett Lee.
Yeah. I know. You always
don't want to hurt nobody's feelings too bad or nothing else, but
That's fine. But real quick here before we close up, what do you got going on?
Saturday we have the 80s night, and then Sunday we've got WCCW Wildcat Championship Wrestling in Nicholasville.
Nice.
That is the upcoming events that we've got going. And like I said, the World Title Tournament and WCCW, that's mine. I'm winning that. This Saturday, the tag team title situation, me and Kaylin, we done got that covered. Me, Kaylin, and B.W. Anderson, the Saints, we're going to retain. And this has been fun. I can't wait to get back on and do it again with you. And next time we need to have like open mic night and just have fans come on and just start, I guess, airing out their grievances.
That would be great. We'll do open Q&A night. We'll do that one night. I think that'd be awesome. I think that'd be great. And as always, I want to thank you. And before I close, you can see right here on the screen right here, you can follow Everett Lee over on social media, over on the Everett Lee Show on Facebook, on Twitter at the Everett _lead, Instagram Everett Lee Show, and on YouTube right there, the Everett Lee Show. And of course, you can follow Podcast City Network right there over on podcastcity.net, Facebook, Podcast City Network, and send a tweet to them on Twitter at Podcast City Net. and subscribe to the Podcast City Network YouTube channel over on Podcast City Network. And right here, actually not right here, but over on Podcast City Network Twitch channel, Podcast City Network on Twitch. And subscribe right here and follow Everett Lee right here on his Twitch channel, the Everett Lee. And you can listen to more Everett Lee Show at the following on Stitcher Radio. Download that app for your smartphone and tablet. iTunes, download that for your iPhone, your PC, and check out the Everett Lee Show. And on Podbeam, Everett Lee Show. And where can they find Jeremy Rage at on social media app before we close?
Facebook at Jeremy Rage Estep, Instagram at Jeremy Estep, and right now that's the only two that I have. I do have a Snapchat, but that's only for personal use. Like I don't have that open to everybody else.
All right. Well, thanks for coming back on, and that is it for the Everett Lee Show. As I hit the outro music, which should be playing right now in the background, which it's probably not, but Everett Lee is signing off. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night, and we'll see you again next week for a new episode of the Everett Lee Show. Peace.